will explain the structure conduct performance model, a key concept in industrial economy. This model, introduced by Edward Mason and refined by Joe Bain, shows how the structure of a market, like the number of competitors, product of diversity, and entry barriers, directly shapes how firms behave. That conduct such as pricing strategy or R&D investment then determines the overall performance of the market, especially in terms of efficiency, innovation, and consumer welfare. For example, in a market with few dominant firms, collaboration or price fixing becomes easier, which can reduce innovation. But in a more competitive market, firms are pressured to offer better and cheaper products. The SAP model is also widely used by government when creating antitrust laws or reviewing proposed measures. While some critics find the model overly simplistic, it's still a valuable tool for understanding the link between market conditions and firm behavior.
This is the firm we are studying for the biscuit industry. First is Hapsing Industri Berhad, founded in 1958 by the Kurt sibling in Johor. Hapsing started a small business like selling handmade biscuit to nearby villages. Over the decade, it transformed into a major player with brands like Chap Ping Pong and Kurt. It also now sold in over 16 countries. Hapsing known for consistency and affordable quality snack that cater to all age. Next is Watai Industri Berhad. Watai began in 1962 and is one of the pioneers in biscuit manufacturing in Malaysia. Its signature brand Luxury is widely recognized. The company has expanded global and maintained a reputation for delivering a wide range of biscuits that appeal to both traditional and modern consumers. Next is Apollo Food Holding Berhad. Established in 1953, Apollo is a household name famous for its chocolate, wafer, and layer cake. It combines local flavor preference with innovation. The Apollo brand has strong nostalgic value for many Malaysians and is now loved internationally. Next is Cocoland Holding Berhad. Founded in 1918, Cocoland is best known for products like Lot 100, Cocoa Pie, and Cocoa Jelly. It is a subsidiary of FNN Holding and emphasizes internationally food safety standards and automation in production, helping it grow across the ASEAN region. Is Pan Malaysia Corporation Berhad, PMC on well-known food brands and also operate A&W Malaysia. Terus is subsidiary Global Premium Research. It produces biscuit under name like Royal British and McOT. Its strengths lie in both retail and wholesale distribution, target local and global market. Next, Nestle Malaysia Berhad, a subsidiary of Swiss multinational Nestle. This company has been in Malaysia since 1920. It manufactures iconic brands such as Milo, Nescafe, and KitKat. Nestle blends international experience with local market insight to maintain leadership in the food and beverage sector.
Based on the four-firm concentration ratio, the Malaysia biscuit industry clearly shows traits of an oligopoly from 2010 to 2019. The CR4 remained above 88%, peaking at 92.72% in 2016. This means that the just four firms, Hapsang, Apollo, Cocoland, and Pan Malaysia Corporation, control nearly the entire market. And in an oligopoly, a few dominant companies set prices, influence supplies, and create strong brand loyalty. This limits the growth of smaller businesses rather than competing on price. These firms differentiate through packaging, flavors, quality, or health claims. The consistently high concentration ratio confirms that the biscuit industry in Malaysia is heavily influenced by a small number of players. In Malaysia, the biscuit industry operates under an oligopoly market structure, dominated by a few major companies such as Hapsang, Apollo, Cocoland, and Pan Malaysia. These sellers benefit from economies of scale, strong distribution, and effective marketing. On the buyer side, biscuits are enjoyed by all races in Malaysia. They are staple for breakfast, tea time, and festive occasions. Producers offers a wide variety, from creamy and traditional to healthy biscuits, to make their diverse taste. International buyers also play a role. Although they purchase in small quantities, their consistent demand helps stabilize the market and contributes to the industry's steady growth.
Let's look at the structure of the Malaysian biscuit industry. It's an oligopolistic market, meaning it's controlled by only a few major companies such as Hapsang, Apollo, Cocoland, and Pan Malaysia Corporation. This firm dominate the shelf space and already have strong consumer loyalty. Now, although it may look like entering this market is easy due to low capital requirement and accessible raw materials, in reality, new entrants face some serious challenges. Firstly, it's hard to compete for premium shelf space in supermarket, which is already occupied by well-known brands. Secondly, building a trusted brand takes time and a lot of marketing effort. Without economies of scale, new businesses will struggle to match the price of existing players. So, while entering the market is possible, only companies that are highly innovative and operationally efficient are likely to survive and grow. On the other hand, exit barriers are relatively low, but they still exist. Companies that want to leave the industry may face difficult recovery some costs, like investment in manufacturing and equipment. Some businesses also have long-term contracts or need to meet regulatory standards, especially if they export or focus on health-conscious products. This commitment can make it costly to exist.
Now let's move to section 3, Firm Strategic Behavior in the Malaysian Biscuit Industry. Firm strategic conduct refers to acts performed by business with the goal of influencing the market environment in which they compete. This includes pricing and advertising.
Is pricing strategy. Pricing is one of the most flexible tools in marketing. Companies in this industry use creative pricing strategy to attract and retain customers. Watai apply value pricing, offering biscuit at RM 6.99 cent. The focus is on deliver quality at affordable rate. The luxury brand often appeal to both family buyers and festive shoppers. Apollo use a mix of competitive pricing and value-based pricing at around RM 9.50 cent. Apollo's strategy is to keep costs low without compromise testing, giving customer a good deal for quality chocolate-based snack. Cocoland position its product in the mid-range pricing segment at RM 10.80 ringgit. Its balance affordability with quality, attracting both budget consumers and quality-focused consumers. Pan Malaysia Corporation adopt volume discount at product bundling with 5 average RM 12 ringgit. This strategy work well with wholesalers and larger family purchase by increasing perceived value. For Nestle Malaysia, use a combination of competitive pricing and psychological pricing. For example, setting price like RM 3.95 cent instead of RM 4 ringgit. It also apply pricing scheming for a new product launch to attract early adopter before adjusting price over time. For Hapseng, use penetration pricing with price as low as RM 4.99 cent. The goal is to attract price-sensitive consumer and expand the market share. This make up Hapseng highly competitive in retail.
To the more traditional route, TV ads, newspapers, but which works really well, especially during festive season. It kind of gives off that nostalgic, family-oriented vibe that a lot of nation can connect with. Then we have Watai, which goes in a totally different direction. They've embraced the digital scenes like Instagram and TikTok, targeting younger consumer. You will see them collaborating with influencers, doing unboxing videos, and running flash sales on Shopee and Lazada. So with this mix, the old school and new school biscuit company are making sure they stay relevant to both older and younger generation. It's a smart way to keep the brand alive and engaging across different age groups.
Okay, so here we have a summary of the revenue trends from 2010 and to 2019 for six food manufacturing companies in Malaysia. Let's start with the obvious leader, Nestle Berhad. As you can see, Nestle consistently dominated the market every single year. It started off strong in 2010 with RM 1.78 billion and continued to climb, reaching its peak in 2018 at 2.85 billion. The massive growth reflects its strong brand, product quality, and nationwide presence. Now moving on the third mid-tier companies, that's Apollo, Cocoland, and Hapseng. This trend shows steady growth throughout the decade. Apollo peaked at RM 283.1 million in 2016, but slightly declined afterwards. Cocoland did really well and overtook Apollo at 2016, hitting its highest point of RM 293.9 million in both 2017 and 2019. Hapseng also grew until 2015, but then saw a gradual drop in the following years. Pan Malaysia Corporation Berhad had a really interesting track. It started off quite strong with over RM 360 million in 2010, but in 2018 its revenue suddenly crashed to just RM 10.3 million, which likely indicates a serious operational or international issue. Thankfully, it made surprising recovery in 2019, climbing back to RM 299.6 million. Lastly, we have Watai Industry Berhad, which consistently recorded the lowest revenue among the group. It has some minor ups and downs, with its best performance in 2015 with RM 66.1 million, but overall it struggled to do much throughout the decade. So overall, the key takeaway is that Nestle held a dominant position all the way. Mid-sized firms saw healthy growth, and the industry experienced a mix of stability, surprises, and slowdowns depending on the company.
Let's look at the sales and revenue trends of Malaysia's major biscuit companies from 2010 to 2019. Hapseng Industries showed strong growth, with sales increasing from 290 million ringgit in 2010 to over 309 million ringgit in 2019, reflecting a solid strategy in both local and export markets. Nestle Malaysia maintained stable revenue over the decade, despite a slight 3.1% drop in 2012 due to global economic uncertainty. Apollo Food Holdings grew significantly until 2013 but faced declining revenue afterwards due to the higher raw material costs and rising competition. Next, Cocoland experienced steady growth until 2016, reaching a peak of 272 million ringgit before seeing a slight decline towards 2019. Water Industries recorded an overall decline, with minor growth in only 2 years, highlighting ongoing challenges. The last one is Pan Malaysia Corporation had mixed performance, a sharp rise in 2015 followed by a drop and stagnation in later years. These trends show how external factors and competition shape the performance of biscuit companies in Malaysia.
19. ROA is a key financial indicator that shows how efficiently a company uses its assets to generate profit. So let's see how each company performed over the decade. We will start with Hapseng Industry. This company stood out with the highest and most consistent ROA among all 6 firms. In 2015, they reached peak ROA of 22.34%, showing excellent asset efficiency. Even though the ROA declined slightly in the later years, it stays strong, consistently above
70%, which reflects very effective management and operations. Next is Nestle Malaysia. Although its ROA remained low, mostly around 1%, this is actually normal for large multinational companies with big asset bases. So the important point here is that Nestle show very stable performance with little fluctuation, which tells us it followed a conservative and steady operating strategy. Apollo's ROA trend was more up and down. It started well in 2010, peaked in 2013 at over 12%, but dropped again by 2019 to just 4%. So this fluctuation may reflect inconsistent profitability on or changing cost structures. It tells us that Apollo had some good years, but overall struggled to maintain stable efficiency. While Cocoland, on the other hand, shows strong and consistent growth in ROA from just 40% in 2010, it climbed to nearly 2,000% in 2016, which shows excellent improvement in asset utilization. Even though it dipped slightly afterwards, its ROA remained healthy, proving that Cocoland managed its resources very effectively. Now let's look at Pan Malaysia Corporation. Its ROA was unstable because it's rising sharply in 2011 but falling drastically in other years, especially in 2014 when it dropped to just 0.40%. This kind of inconsistency suggests a weak financial control or unpredictable incompetence. Lastly, we have Huatai. Unfortunately, this company had their poorest ROA trend with multiple years in negative territory, including a low of negative 6.79% in 2018. This shows ongoing financial struggles and very low asset productivity, and it's only slightly recovered in 2019, but overall, it had the weakest performance. To summarize, Hubseng and Cocoland were the strongest terms of ROA, consistently using their assets well to generate profits. Nestle stays stable but low due to its size. Apollo show a mix of highs and lows, while Pan Malaysia and Huatai face more financial instability. This comparison really shows how important smart asset management is to long-term profitability.
In this section, I'll walk you through the return on equity or ROE performance of 6 major Malaysian food companies from 2010 to 2019. ROE tells us how efficiently a company uses shareholders' equity to generate profits. In other words, how well the company rewards its investors. Let's start with Hubseng Industries, the top performer in our analysis. They began with a ROE of about 16% in 2010, peaked at 33% in 2015, and impressively stayed above 26% through 2019. This shows very strong and consistent profit efficiency, meaning Hubseng was highly effective in converting equity into returns. Next is Cocoland. Their ROE steadily rose from just under 5% in 2010 to a peak of 23% by 2016. Though it dipped slightly afterward, they still maintained a healthy 90% by 2019. This consistent upward trend reflects good management and growing shareholder value. Apollo Food showed more fluctuations. They reached their highest ROE at 16.5% in 2011, but still fell to just 4.5% by 2019. The inconsistent numbers suggest unstable returns and possible operational challenges over time. Nestle Malaysia had the most stable but also the lowest ROE in this group, ranging between 2% and 6%. This is likely due to their conservative financial strategy and large asset base. They prioritize long-term safety over high short-term returns. Now for the two companies that face the most difficulty, Pan Malaysia and Huatai. Pan Malaysia had some years with positive ROE, hitting a height of 9%, but also had significant negative years like negative 13.6% in 2018. Huatai, on the other hand, showed no meaningful improvement, with ROE frequently staying in negative territory. These patterns indicate serious financial struggles and a poor ability to generate returns for shareholders. To sum up, Hubseng and Cocoland stand out as strong, profitable companies in terms of ROE. Nestle remains safe and steady, while Apollo shows inconsistency, but both Pan Malaysia and Huatai clearly struggled during the period. Overall, this ROE analysis highlights the importance of consistent profitability in building long-term financial strength. Thank you.
Now let's talk about total expenditure. This part shows how much each company is spending to keep their... And by looking at how this expense changed from 2010 to 2019, we get a peek into their strategies and priorities. Hubseng, for instance, steadily increased its spending from around 188 million ringgit in 2010 to 257 million ringgit in 2019. That suggests they were growing, likely expanding production and responding to strong demand. Nestle, being the market leader, also bumped up its spending from 3.5 million ringgit to 4.6 million over the same period. That rise could be tied to ongoing investment in innovation and heavy marketing efforts. Now, Apollo Food Holdings had a bit of a rollercoaster ride. They start at 17.4 million ringgit, hit a peak of over 43 million in 2014, probably from expanding their chocolate oxide production. They settled back down to around 28.9 million in 2019. As for Cocoland, their spending also grew steadily early on from 134 million to more than 232 million ringgit in 2014. But by 2019, it's dropped slightly to 270 million. That may reflect better efficiency and getting more done while spending less. Pan Malaysia Corporation was more inconsistent. They start at 19.1 million ringgit, peak in 2015 at 108 million, and then declined to 70 million by 2019. Their spending went up and down, suggesting a less stable approach. Finally, for Matai, their story is a bit different. In 2010, they spent about 76.6 million ringgit. Over time, that amount gradually decreased to 64.3 million in 2019. It could mean cost cutting or scaling back to financial constraints. Still, they did have occasional spikes like in 2015 and 2017, possibly efforts to boost production or refresh their brand presence.
Public policy refer to the action and decision taken by government to address issues that affect the public. In the context of company, especially those in the food manufacturing sector, public policy play a significant role in shaping their operation and strategy.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. In this video, I will be sharing about Malaysia Halal Certificate Policy, how it works, what it requires and why it's so important both for Muslim consumer and Malaysian global industry. The Halal Certification Policy is Malaysia's way of ensuring that products and services follow Islamic dietary laws and ethical standards. This whole process is managed by JAKIM under a system called the Halal Certification System or HSS. It doesn't just focus on ingredients but also hygiene, safety and overall halal integrity. This policy has three main goals. First, it aims to protect Muslim consumers from accidentally consuming haram or forbidden products. Second, it builds trust by ensuring that anything labeled halal is truly halal. And third, on a bigger scale, it helps to position Malaysia as a global halal hub, a leader in the international halal market. To get halal certificate, companies need to follow a special standard called MS 1500-2019, especially for food. This includes everything from how ingredients are secure and how animals are slaughtered to how the products are processed, packaged, stored, and even delivered. It's a full end-to-end process, not just a simple checklist. Before companies can get the halal certificate, they need to submit proper documentation. Then they go through on a site inspection by the authorities. Even after they are certified, they will continue to be monitored and recertified. Regularly. If they fail to follow the rules, they could face fine, lose their certification, or even face legal action. Malaysia's halal policy is not just about religion; it also supports the national economy by maintaining a strong and trustworthy halal system. Malaysia is able to compete globally in the multi-billion-dollar halal market. This builds international confidence in Malaysian product and encourage ethical sustainability business practices. In summary, Malaysia Halal Certification Policy shows the government's serious commitment to Sharia principle, consumer protection, and economic development. It gives Muslim consumers peace of mind while helping the country grow as a trusted leader in the global halal industry.
Food safety and quality control policies are essential in Malaysia's food and beverage industry. These policies ensure that products are safe and meet national and international standards. The Ministry of Health, through the Food Safety and Quality Division, strictly monitors hygiene, food handling, manufacturing, and also the packaging. However, small and medium enterprises (SME) face challenges such as limited finances, lack of technical knowledge, and outdated technology. This can increase the risk of food contamination and lower product quality, which affects consumer safety and brand trust. With rising consumer demand for healthier, organic, halal and high-quality food, it is more important than ever for producers to meet international standards, especially in the growing halal food market. To address these challenges, the government must support SMEs by providing training on good manufacturing practices, encouraging food safety certifications like ACCP, and offering financial aid to help them upgrade their facilities. This will ensure safer food and stronger presence in both domestic and also the global market.
Now, solution for the issue, I will explain how halal certification by JAKIM function as a powerful policy tool in promoting ethical business practice in Malaysia's food and beverage industry. Although it's often seen just a religious requirement, halal certification actually serves as a comprehensive regulatory framework. It ensures business operate with transparency, fairness and responsibility, protecting consumer interests, especially vulnerable groups like the elderly and children. To get certified, company must submit detailed documentation about the ingredients and process. So this helps prevent false advertising, fake labeling and help misinformation. Importantly, the system is standardized and open to all, especially big and small business alike, which support fair competition. JAKIM's consistent enforcement of strict standards ensures no one has an unfair market advantage. So the certification also indirectly promotes innovation and sustainability, Many companies adopt cleaner, more ethical practice to meet check-ins, trade classification criteria, which benefits not just consumer but the environment as well. In short, check-ins halal certification is not just about religion; it is a strong governance tool that helps shape a more ethical, transparent, and globally respected food industry in Malaysia. Thank you.
Small and medium enterprises or SME make up a big part of Malaysia's food and beverage sector. But many of them face challenges when it comes to meeting food safety and quality standards. Supporting these businesses is not just important for public health, but also for the country's success in global halal and organic markets. One key step is education. Many SME owners are unaware of what's required under Good Manufacturing Practice (GMP) or Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points (HACCP). To close this knowledge gap, we need practical training, including workshops, short courses, and hands-on sessions. This should be offered through partnerships between the Ministry of Health, universities, and food industry professionals to ensure relevance and accessibility. Next, financial support is critical. SME often don't have the capital to upgrade their facilities or meet certification costs. The government should introduce grants or low-interest loans specifically for this purpose, enabling them to invest in safer machinery, better packaging, or even automate production. With financial aid, these businesses are more likely to comply with safety regulations and raise their overall product quality. Technology can also help bridge the gap. Simple systems like traceability, software, and ultimate hygiene controls can reduce human error and make processes more efficient. In addition, a mobile app or digital portal could be developed, giving SME quick access to food safety updates, letting them run self-checks and even book virtual consultations for certification. This way, small producers don't fall behind simply because of limited access to expert advice. To wrap up, by providing training, financial assistance, and access to the right technology, we can empower SMEs to meet high food safety standards. This not only protects public health but also helps local businesses compete internationally. In the long run, it builds a more resilient and trusted food industry, where even the smallest players have the tools to succeed.
To wrap things up, from 2010 to 2019, the Malaysian biscuit industry clearly operated under an oligopoly, meaning just a few big players dominated the market. In fact, the four-firm concentration ratio stayed above 80% the whole time. These key players, Nestle, Hapseng, Apollo, and Cocoland, had the power to shape industry trends from pricing to advertising and even what kind of biscuit we see on the shelf. Some companies manage consistent growth, others face challenge, but all of them feel the heat of competition. On top of that, government policy, especially around halal standards and food safety, also push companies to stay compliant and responsible. So, in this kind of competitive environment, it's not just about who spend the most. It's about smart strategy, using advertising wisely, managing costs effectively, and staying responsive to both the market and public policy. In the end, the companies that can evolve and keep up with changing consumer habits, those are the ones likely to stay profitable and strong in the long run. Thank you.